Imagine you are holding a bag of potato chips. It is light, loud when you shake it, and somehow it can disappear in minutes. But behind that simple snack is a long, carefully controlled journey that starts in open fields and ends in a sealed bag
Two fish and chips, one
designed
burger.
to keep
Order up.
every chip crisp,
Yes, chef. Heard that.
golden,
Right.
and safe to eat. This is the documentary story of how potato chips are made in a modern factory, from harvest day to the moment they land in a store shelf, and finally in your hands. It begins with a crop that looks humble, even plain. Potatoes grow underground, protected from sunlight, building starch and moisture in the dark. For chips, not every potato makes the cut. Factories and farmers work together to grow varieties that fry well. The goal is a potato that can turn golden instead of brown, crisp instead of leathery, flavorful instead of bitter. That depends on size, texture, and especially sugar levels. Too much natural sugar and the chips can darken quickly during frying, changing both taste and appearance. Harvest timing matters. Pull potatoes too early and they may be watery. Too late and they can bruise more easily or develop defects. When the fields are ready, harvesting machines move across the rows, lifting soil and separating the tubers with vibrating belts. It looks rough, but every stage is designed to protect the crop. Even so, potatoes are sensitive. A bruise on the outside can become a dark spot inside, which later becomes a burnt tasting chip that nobody wants. Once harvested, potatoes are collected, checked, and loaded for transport. Trucks head to the factory with tons of raw product, and from that moment on, time and temperature become part of the story. Potatoes breathe. They react to heat, cold, and stress. If they get too warm, they can spoil faster. If they get too cold, their starch can convert to sugar, which is exactly what a chip maker tries to avoid. At the factory gate, the process becomes a blend of food science and industrial precision. Trucks are weighed, and the incoming load is sampled. A small sample can represent an entire shipment. Technicians inspect the potatoes for size, damage, rot, and contamination. They may test dryness and sugar indicators. If the batch is not within specification, it may be diverted to another use or rejected. It is protecting consistency. Every bag needs to taste the same, look the same, and crunch the same, no matter the month, the farm, or the weather. Approved potatoes move into receiving bins, sometimes called bunkers. Think of these as the factory's buffer. From here, potatoes feed into the production line at a controlled pace. If the factory needs to hold potatoes for a short time, storage conditions are carefully managed with ventilation and temperature control. The goal is to keep the potatoes stable, clean, and ready. Next comes cleaning, and it is more intense than most people imagine. Field potatoes arrive with soil, stones, stems, and debris. Before water even touches them, they pass through dry cleaning equipment that shakes off loose dirt and separates heavy contaminants. Stone separators use differences in density and movement to remove rocks that could damage slicing blades or end up in product. Magnets can capture stray metal fragments from upstream handling. Every contaminant removed here is one less risk later. Then the line turns wet. Potatoes enter washing systems that look like a mix of a car wash and a water park. High-flow water, rotating brushes, and sprays scrub away soil. The water is often filtered and recirculated, with solids separated out for waste handling. It is a constant balance. Enough force to clean thoroughly, not so much that it damages the skin and bruises the flesh. From there, depending on the product style, potatoes may be peeled. Some chips are sold with the skin on, but many factories peel for a cleaner look and a smoother texture. Peeling can be abrasive, rubbing the potato against a rough surface to remove the outer layer. Some lines use steam peeling, where heat loosens the skin and it is removed with controlled friction and spray. Either way, peeling is a loss stage, which means the factory wants it efficient. Too little peel removed leaves defects. Now comes one of the most important steps in the entire process: slicing. A potato chip is not just fried potato. It is a precisely cut thin slice, and the slice thickness defines the texture. Too thick, and the chip may not dry enough in the fryer. Too thin, and it can break or overcook. Modern slicers can process massive volumes, using sharp blades and controlled feed systems. Potatoes are guided into the slicer, and in a heartbeat they become a stream of uniform slices moving forward like a ribbon of pale gold. But slicing releases surface starch. That starch can cause chips to stick together, fry unevenly, and develop a gummy texture. So the slices go through a rinse, sometimes several rinses, to wash away excess surface starch. Water flows through channels while the slices are gently agitated, separating them and cleaning the surfaces. The water may become cloudy with starch, which is often recovered and handled as a byproduct. In many factories, the next stage is blanching. Blanching is a short heat treatment, usually in hot water, designed to control sugar levels and stabilize the slice. It can help reduce browning during frying and support a consistent color. It can also remove a bit more starch and soften the slice surface just enough to improve the final crunch. The timing and temperature here are tuned like a recipe, because a few seconds can change the outcome. After blanching, slices must be dried. Water is the enemy of a clean fry. Too much water hitting hot oil creates violent bubbling, increased oil breakdown, and unstable product quality. Drying systems remove surface moisture using vibration, spinning, air knives, and heated airflow. You can think of this stage as preparing the slices for their most dramatic transformation. Then the slices enter the fryer, the heart of the chips factory. Industrial fryers are long, continuous systems where slices travel through hot oil under strict control. Temperature, dwell time, oil flow, and filtration all work together. The goal is to remove moisture, create a crisp structure, and develop that familiar golden color. As water evaporates, tiny steam bubbles form, creating micro pockets that become part of the chip's crunch. Meanwhile, the surface begins to brown through natural reactions that create aroma and flavor. Oil quality matters here more than anywhere. Oil is constantly filtered to remove crumbs that would burn and discolor the batch. Factories monitor oil degradation because old oil produces off flavors and darker color. Managing oil is not just about taste. It is about consistency, shelf life, and safety. When chips exit the fryer, they still carry excess oil on their surface, so the line moves into de-oiled stages, often using vibration or centrifugal motion to shake off surface oil. This improves mouthfeel and helps seasoning adhere evenly later. It also reduces greasiness and supports a cleaner flavor. Next comes cooling. Chips cannot be seasoned correctly if they are too hot, and they cannot be packed if they are steaming. Cooling tunnels move air across the chips to bring them to the right temperature. This stage also stabilizes texture. A chip that seems crisp right out of the fryer can soften if it traps moisture. Cooling helps lock the crunch. Now the flavor arrives. Seasoning is not just sprinkling powder. It is a controlled coating process. Chips tumble through rotating drums while measured amounts of salt and seasoning blend are applied. Some recipes use a light mist of oil to help powder stick. Then the seasoning blend is distributed evenly as the chips tumble. The goal is uniform coverage, so every chip tastes right. Not just the ones at the bottom of the bag. Different flavors require different handling. Fine powders behave differently from coarse blends. Some seasonings clump if humidity rises. Some contain acids that change how they stick. Factories treat seasoning like a science, with controlled feed rates, dust management, and regular checks. While all of this is happening, quality control is running in parallel. Modern plants use multiple checkpoints. Vision systems can identify dark chips and remove them. Weight systems ensure each bag meets its labeled quantity. Metal detectors scan product to catch any contamination that should never be there. Samples are taken to test moisture, texture, salt level, and flavor. Microbiological programs verify that sanitation and process controls are working. Traceability systems record batches, times, and ingredient lots, so every bag can be linked back through the line if needed. Then comes packaging, and packaging is more than a wrapper. The bag is designed to protect chips from air and moisture, two things that destroy crunch and freshness. Many factories use nitrogen flushing. Before sealing, the bag is filled with nitrogen to push out oxygen. Less oxygen means slower oxidation, fewer rancid flavors, and longer shelf life. That puffed bag is also a cushion, protecting chips from breaking during transport. Sealing is monitored for integrity. A weak seal can let air in and ruin a product. Printing systems apply date codes and batch information. Bags are then grouped, boxed, palletized, and stored in finished goods warehouses that are clean, dry, and controlled. From there, distribution takes over. Pallets leave the factory and travel through supply networks to warehouses, retailers, and online fulfillment centers. Temperature swings in transport can affect quality, so logistics planning matters. The chips you see in a store represent not just a frying process, but a chain of decisions about handling, storage, and timing. Finally, the bag reaches the shelf. You pick it up, you hear the rustle, you open it, and the first chip snaps with that familiar sound. That crunch is not an accident. It is engineered through farming choices, washing systems, slicing precision, heat control, oil management, seasoning science, and packaging technology. Potato chips feel casual, even playful. But the process behind them is anything but random. It is a high-speed transformation of a raw crop into a standardized snack, repeated day after day, batch after batch, with thousands of small decisions keeping the final experience consistent. So, the next time you eat a chip,
to lane 3.
think about the journey.
This area now.
A potato lifted from soil, cleaned, sliced, dried, fried, seasoned, sealed, and shipped. A whole factory of movement and measurement, all to deliver one simple
2
moment.
fish and chips, 1 burger.
A crisp
Order up.
bite, a burst of
Yes, chef,
flavor,
heard that right away.
and the strange certainty that you will reach for another.